Ever get that feeling, like stepping into a world that's familiar, but also completely fantastical at the
Hmm.
same time? That's kind of the magic of the British school story.
Yeah.
Like Tom Brown's School Days, Mallory Towers, and of course, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like these stories, they've captivated generations, but, their influence goes way beyond just entertainment.
Right.
So today we're diving into the history of these iconic stories, uncovering their surprisingly deep connections to British society and, exploring why they continue to resonate with us, even today.
It is fascinating how these stories, often set in these like idyllic and isolated schools, they actually hold up a mirror to British society, especially during their Victorian heyday.
Yeah.
They offer a glimpse into a world shaped by tradition, hierarchy, and this really deep-seated belief in the power of education to mold character.
We've got a ton of sources here, historical analyses, personal memoirs, literary critiques.
Wow.
We even have like a podcast episode comparing Tom Brown to Harry Potter. Our mission to kind of peel back the layers of these stories and uncover how they became such a powerful cultural force, shaping perceptions of education and class and even British identity itself.
And what's really striking is how the origins of these stories are really intertwined with the rise of the Victorian public school system. These schools, often seen as bastions of privilege and tradition, emerged during a time of immense social and technological change, mirroring the anxieties and hopes of a nation grappling with industrialization and its impact on society.
It's like these schools and the stories they inspired were like trying to create order amidst the chaos of a rapidly changing world.
Exactly. The image of a grand, often Gothic-inspired school nestled in the idyllic countryside became this really powerful symbol, a retreat from the grime and upheaval of industrial cities, a place where young minds could be molded according to a very specific set of values and ideals.
Yeah, you can almost picture it, a young boy arriving at this like imposing institution, much like Harry Potter, first stepping into Hogwarts, a mix of trepidation and excitement, leaving behind the familiar world of home and entering a realm governed by its own like unique set of rules and traditions.
Yeah, this sense of separation from the outside world is a key element of the British school story, reflecting Victorian anxieties about the rapid changes brought about by industrialization.
Yeah.
The countryside, often romanticized and imbued with a sense of history and tradition, represented an escape from the perceived chaos of the modern world.
And the railways, too. They weren't just a road of transport. They like symbolized this separation, enabling the creation of these geographically isolated schools far removed from the hustle and bustle of urban life.
The irony, of course, is that the railway system, a symbol of modernity itself, played a crucial role in establishing these institutions that often harken back to a bygone era.
Right.
It's a fascinating paradox that speaks to the complex relationship between tradition and progress in Victorian society.
And at the heart of this world stood figures like the legendary Dr. Thomas Arnold, the headmaster of Rugby School.
Oh, yes.
He's considered a pivotal figure in shaping the Victorian public school system,
Yeah.
almost like a real-life Dumbledore.
Dr. Arnold's vision was to mold boys into Christian gentlemen of strong moral character. He saw schools as crucibles for this transformation, and his ideas, disseminated through his disciples and popularized by Tom Brown's School Days, had a profound impact on education across Britain and its vast empire.
It's remarkable how one person's vision could leave such a lasting legacy. His emphasis on character formation through rigorous academics discipline and the development of moral fiber became the blueprint for countless schools that followed.
And this emphasis on shaping character extended beyond the classroom. Sport played a central role in public school life, much like Quidditch in Harry Potter.
Right, here's where it gets really interesting. The Victorians believed that sports instilled valuable qualities like teamwork, self-discipline, and what they called manliness. It's almost like they saw the playing field as a training ground for future leaders, a place to test mettle and forge a sense of camaraderie.
But this emphasis on physicality and competition also reveals some of the underlying anxieties of the time, particularly surrounding boys' sexuality. The lengths they went to, elastic bands on shorts, to prevent any unnecessary displays of flesh. It speaks to the intense focus on controlling boys' behavior both physically and emotionally.
Yeah, it's a side of these schools that often gets overlooked, but it's crucial to understanding the complexities of the Victorian public school experience. It's a reminder that beneath the veneer of tradition and idealism, there were anxieties and perhaps even darker undercurrents at play.
Absolutely. And this complexity is reflected in the stories themselves, which, while often celebrating the triumphs of the schoolboy hero, also hint at the pressures and challenges of navigating this highly regimented and often unforgiving world.
Speaking of navigating a world with its own set of rules, let's talk about the emphasis on Latin and Greek in these schools.
Okay.
It's almost like the magical spells in Harry Potter. A specialized language that sets the students apart from the muggles of the outside world.
This classical education created a sense of exclusivity and served as a powerful tool for identity formation.
Yeah.
Latin and Greek were considered the hallmarks of a gentleman's education, further reinforcing the social divide between those within the public school system and the rest of society.
It's fascinating how a dead language could play such a crucial role in shaping the identities and aspirations of these future leaders. It fostered a sense of shared experience and belonging within this elite group, setting them apart from the masses.
And this concept of belonging extended beyond language. Think about the house system, which divided students into smaller communities within the larger school structure, much like Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin at Hogwarts.
Ah, yes. These houses fostered a sense of competition and camaraderie, mirroring the Victorian emphasis on social order and the individual's place within the larger hierarchy. Each house had its own unique identity and traditions, further reinforcing the school's intricate social fabric.
The house system wasn't just about competition. It was about instilling a sense of loyalty and belonging, mirroring the Victorian belief in the importance of community and social responsibility.
Of course, with competition comes rules, and these schools had plenty of them.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Harry navigating the complex world of Hogwarts, students in these institutions had to master a seemingly impenetrable web of regulations governing every aspect of their lives.
These rules, often arcane and baffling to outsiders, played a crucial role in shaping the school's unique identity and fostering a sense of separation from the outside world. They were a constant reminder that you were part of something different, something special, something with its own set of traditions and expectations.
So we're starting to see a clearer picture here. These schools were far more than just places of learning. They were carefully constructed environments designed to shape not only minds, but also characters according to a very specific set of Victorian ideals.
And what's crucial to remember is that these ideals, disseminated through these stories and the experiences of those who attended these institutions, had a ripple effect on society as a whole, shaping perceptions of masculinity leadership and the very essence of Britishness itself.
But as with any system, there were cracks beneath the surface. Remember those anxieties about beastliness we discussed earlier? Well, those anxieties were closely intertwined with a darker side to public school life, particularly the prevalence of corporal punishment.
The ritualized nature of floggings, often conducted in front of other students, is a stark reminder of the harsh realities of Victorian discipline. It raises questions about the psychological effects of such practices and the extent to which they were used to control boys' behavior, their bodies, and even their emotions.
We even have first-hand accounts from individuals like John Addington Seamans, whose controversial memoir lifted the veil on some of the more troubling aspects of public school life, including the prevalence of inappropriate relationships between students and even teachers.
Simon's account serves as a stark reminder that behind the romanticized image of these institutions, there existed a more complex and at times disturbing reality.
It challenges us to look beyond the idealized portrayals and grapple with the complexities of a system that, while shaping generations of leaders, also perpetuated harmful practices and ingrained social hierarchies.
It's a reminder that we need to approach these stories and the institutions they depict with a critical eye, acknowledging both the positive and negative aspects of their legacy.
So we've explored the origins of the British school story, the visionaries like Dr. Arnold who shaped the public school system, and even the darker undercurrents that ran through these seemingly idyllic institutions. But one crucial element is missing from this picture: the absence of girls. These early stories were primarily a male domain reflecting the rigid gender roles of Victorian society.
And that's where we'll pick up in part 2 of our deep dive, where we'll explore how the arrival of girls onto the school story scene changed the game, introducing new perspectives, challenges, and of course, plenty of captivating stories. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into, the captivating world of British school stories. Last time we explored the origins of this genre, focusing on the rise of boys' schools in the Victorian era. But as we all know, there's another side to the story, one that's just as intriguing and maybe even more complex.
Indeed, the world of girls' school stories, while often overshadowed by, their male counterparts, offers a fascinating glimpse into the lives, aspirations, and challenges faced by young women in a society that often confined them to narrowly defined roles.
Yeah, it's like we're stepping into a parallel universe,
Yeah.
a world of grand manor houses transformed into schools, bustling with girls in, crisp uniforms, forming deep friendships, and of course getting up to all sorts of mischief.
Think of classics like Mallory Towers and St. Clair's by Enid Blyton. These stories, while set in a world seemingly separate from the boys' schools, still reflect the societal expectations and anxieties of their time. They offer a window into a world where girls were being prepared not for leadership on a global stage, but for a more domestic sphere, a life centered around family and social graces.
It's a stark contrast to the emphasis on classical education, physical prowess, and leadership we saw in boys' schools. It's almost as if these stories were preparing girls for two very different paths in life.
Precisely. The curriculum in these girls' schools often emphasize subjects like music needlework and modern languages skills, considered, more appropriate for their expected roles as wives and mothers. It's a reflection of the deeply ingrained gender roles that permeated Victorian society, shaping not only education, but also aspirations and life choices.
But even within these constraints, there's a sense of agency and resilience in these girls' school stories.
Yeah.
They're not passive figures. They're forming strong bonds, challenging authority, and finding ways to assert their individuality within the confines of a system that often sought to limit their options.
Absolutely. The emphasis might have been different, but both types of schools for boys and girls shared a common thread: the importance of character formation. Whether it was playing the game on the rugby pitch or demonstrating goodness in the halls of a girls' school, these stories emphasize the development of moral fiber and a commitment to a certain set of values.
It's fascinating how these stories, despite their often idealized portrayal of school life, still manage to capture the complexities of, navigating social hierarchies, forming lasting friendships, and grappling with the challenges of adolescence.
And let's not forget the rules. While girls' schools might not have resorted to corporal punishment with the same frequency as boys' schools, they still had their own set of strict regulations and expectations designed to mold young women into proper ladies.
Oh yeah, those infamous rules against girls gathering in groups larger than 3, or the absolute horror of being caught with a muddy skirt. It sounds almost comical now, but these rules were a constant reminder of the societal pressures and expectations placed upon girls, particularly regarding their appearance and behavior.
These seemingly trivial rules reflected deep-seated anxieties about female agency and the importance of maintaining a ladylike demeanor at all times. It's a reminder that societal expectations for girls were just as pervasive, albeit often expressed in different ways.
So we have these two seemingly separate worlds, boys' schools and girls' schools, each reflecting the prevailing gender roles and societal expectations of their time. But how did these worlds eventually collide? When did we start to see a shift towards a more inclusive vision of education, one that recognized the potential of both boys and girls?
The introduction of coeducation in British schools, though a gradual and often contested process, marked a significant turning point, not only in educational practices, but also in the evolution of the school's story genre.
It's like those rigid boundaries between the two worlds started to crumble, paving the way for new possibilities and, of course, new stories.
Precisely. And perhaps no story better embodies this shift than Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling, while drawing on the rich traditions of the school story genre, ultimately created a world where magic and learning transcend gender.
Yeah, think about Hogwarts with its diverse student body, its co-ed classes, and its powerful female characters like Hermione Granger,
Yeah.
who breaks stereotypes and proves that intelligence and courage are not limited by gender.
Exactly. Rowling took the best elements of both boys' and girls' school stories and blended them together, creating a world that feels both familiar and revolutionary. It's a testament to her skill as a storyteller that she managed to pay homage to the traditions of the genre while simultaneously pushing its boundaries.
Yeah, it's like she took this well-established formula, added a dash of magic, and created something entirely new and captivating.
And this blend of tradition and innovation combined with her masterful storytelling is undoubtedly a key factor in the enduring appeal of the Harry Potter series.
It's a testament to the power of storytelling to reflect societal changes, to challenge norms, and to inspire us to imagine a world where everyone, regardless of gender, has the opportunity to reach their full potential.
Indeed, the evolution of the school story genre from its Victorian roots to its modern incarnations offers a fascinating window into the evolving landscape of education, gender roles, and societal expectations.
But the story doesn't end there. Even in a world where boarding schools are no longer the dominant force they once were, the themes and values embedded in these stories continue to resonate.
And that's precisely what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the enduring legacy of the British school story and consider how its themes continue to shape our understanding of education leadership and even the very essence of British identity itself. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of British school stories you know. We've journeyed from the hallowed halls of Victorian boys' schools to the bustling corridors of girls' institutions and witnessed how these stories evolved alongside societal shifts. But one question lingers. What's the lasting impact of these tales? Why do we keep coming back to these stories of midnight feasts, daring pranks, and lessons learned on the playing fields?
It is remarkable how these stories, despite their often romanticized portrayal of a bygone era, manage to tap into something universal, like the experience of growing up, finding your place within a community and navigating the often turbulent waters of adolescence.
Right.
These themes, they transcend time and location, resonating with readers even today.
You're right. It's like they offer a blueprint, albeit often idealized, for navigating the complexities of social life. We see ourselves in those characters, grappling with friendship rivalry and the pressure to conform or rebel.
Precisely. And let's not forget the allure of these self-contained worlds brimming with secret societies, intricate rules, and the thrill of competition.
Whether it's a Quidditch match at Hogwarts or a nail-biting cricket game in Tom Brown's school days, these stories capture that universal desire for belonging, for testing our limits, and for experiencing the exhilaration of victory.
There's something inherently captivating about those moments of triumph, whether it's winning a house cup or simply mastering a challenging subject. These stories remind us of the power of perseverance and the satisfaction of achieving a hard-won goal.
Absolutely. And interwoven with these themes of competition and personal growth, we find the enduring power of friendship.
Right.
The bonds formed within those school walls amidst shared challenges and triumphs resonate deeply with readers of all ages.
It makes me think about those late-night conversations, the shared secrets, the unwavering support of friends who have your back no matter what. These stories remind us of the importance of those connections, the people who help us through those formative years and shape who we become.
And while most of us may never experience the grandeur of a Hogwarts or the traditions of a rugby, we can still relate to the universal emotions these stories evoke.
Yeah. The anxiety of the first day, the awkwardness of fitting in, the thrill of discovering your talents, these experiences are shared by young people across generations and cultures.
It's like these stories offers a glimpse into a shared human experience, reminding us that despite our differences, we're all connected by those fundamental desires for belonging, purpose, and connection.
Precisely. And let's not underestimate the power of nostalgia. Many of us grew up with these stories, and they hold a special place in our hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Rereading them or revisiting them through film adaptations evokes a sense of warmth and longing for a simpler time, a world where right and wrong seemed more clearly defined.
That sense of nostalgia is powerful. It transports us back to those carefree days of childhood when the world felt full of possibilities.
And what's fascinating is how this nostalgic appeal, combined with those timeless themes, ensures that the British school story genre continues to evolve and adapt for new audiences.
Yeah.
We see it in film adaptations, television series, and even fan fiction, proving that these stories have a timeless quality that continues to resonate with each generation.
It's like the magic of these stories never truly fades. They find new ways to captivate us, to remind us of those universal experiences, and to inspire us to embrace the power of imagination and storytelling.
The school story genre, despite its focus on a very specific type of institution, ultimately speaks to something much larger: the human journey of growth discovery and the search for meaning and connection in a complex world.
So while the world has changed drastically since the days of Tom Brown or even Harry Potter, those themes embedded in these stories continue to shape our understanding of education leadership and even the very essence of Britishness itself.
The public school ethos, with its emphasis on character service and fair play, still holds a certain allure even if we recognize the flaws and limitations of that system.
It's a testament to the enduring power of these stories that they can spark such deep reflection and conversation even decades after they were written.
And that's the beauty of great storytelling. It stays with us, prompts us to question, to remember, and to imagine new possibilities.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a lingering thought. Like, if Hogwarts existed today, would it still hold the same magic? Would those lessons of courage, friendship, and standing up for what's right still resonate as strongly? Or would the realities of our modern world, with all its complexities and challenges, inevitably change the very fabric of that beloved institution?
That's a question worth pondering. The best stories, like the most enduring institutions, have a remarkable ability to evolve and adapt while staying true to their core values.
Huh.
Perhaps the magic of Hogwarts lies not just in its spells and enchantments, but in its ability to remind us of those timeless human qualities that make us strive for a better, more just, and more magical world.
Well, there you have it. From the playing fields of rugby to the enchanted halls of Hogwarts, the British school story continues to capture our imaginations and spark those essential conversations about who we are, who we strive to be, and the power of education to shape not just minds, but also hearts. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the magic of storytelling alive.